Hi, welcome back to 97 The Ticket. I'm Peter along with Jacob Boss and Brock. Our first subject of the day will be on Chris Sale, big lefty for the Chicago White Sox, looking to get dealt to either Texas or even here in Boston. Brock, what do you have to say about that?
Well, Chris Sale is definitely one of the dominant left-handing starters in our league, but I don't really like Chris Sale because you saw the scenario where he's cutting up the jerseys. I don't really think he's that loyal a player or great personality that fits surely in the Boston Red Sox for sure. I don't know about Texas, but I don't want him here in Boston. What about you, Jacob Boss?
Well, behavior-wise, I think he's a little bit iffy, but playing and, development, I think he's really good, and I think he'd be a good addition to either team, and that it could help him, develop and be good, even though both Boston and the Rangers are both playing really good right now.
Yeah, and of course, he's got all the issues with cutting up his jersey the other day. He got a 5-game suspension in Chicago. Yeah, he's struggling a little. He's a great lefty though. He's a great lefty. I don't see why a team wouldn't want him. The problem is that Chicago's asking for 5 top prospects for him, and that's a lot. That's a lot of guys.
But Boston also does need some pitching. They seem to be struggling. You saw Stephen Wright last night giving up a lot of runs to the Detroit Tigers, and the Boston Red Sox lineup's falling apart a little bit. They need to get regrouped, and I think maybe he could do that for him, but those behavior problems are still there.
Yeah, also, even though his old team, the Chicago White Sox, they're really struggling right now, I think he's a really good player, and I think he could be a good addition to the Red Sox to help them do better in the season and hopefully make the playoffs.
All right. Well, let's talk about Big Ten football. We got some big names now. Ohio State finally getting some big-time recruits. So is Michigan. And Michigan State, they fell apart a little bit, losing their big quarterback, Connor Cook, going to the NFL. What do you have to say, bro?
Well, yeah, Connor Cook was a very big player and a very big role for the Michigan State Spartans. But I think they're going to be okay because their team definitely has a good defensive line and a defensive core, so I think they'll be strong and definitely make a big run, maybe to the Big Ten championship again.
All right, looks like we got our first caller. Hi, you're live on Sports Center Radio.
Hey, thanks,
What's the
Jaker. I actually have a specific question for you since we already heard from Brock. What will the Big Ten football standings look like at the end of the season?
I'm going to have to go with number 1 is going to have to be, I don't know, maybe Michigan State because their team is really good. I know their coaching staff is great and all their players, their offense, defense, special teams, they're all going to develop very good and hopefully be good this season. So I'm picking Michigan State for the top team. The other teams I'm not sure about yet.
I would have to go with Ohio State. Michigan State, they just lost a big-time quarterback. I don't know if their backups, he's going to be a senior, but he's only started 1 game before. Of course, that was against Ohio State where they won in kind of an ugly win. Michigan, they got some big-time guys coming in, but the problem is they're too young. I would give them a couple years before they're going to make the college football playoffs.
You know what sleeper team in the Big Ten is the Nebraska Cornhuskers. They are getting some recruits, some big recruits, like the Davis twins, and I think in a couple years they could be a very strong team and maybe a team that could go all the way to the Big Ten championship and make a strong run.
All right, now let's get into NFL training camp. So around the NFL, a lot of the superstar players get hurt in training camp. We heard about
Jordy Nelson got hurt last
Jordy
year.
Nelson last year from the Packers. He got hurt last year in training camp. Hopefully this year it's not Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots. So, Peter, what do you want to say about that?
Well, you don't want any big guys to get hurt. You don't want any big name to get hurt. One that hurts, it hurts attendance-wise. It hurts money for the NFL. But, it's good for the fans. You want competition. You want the best guys out there because that's why you go to the games. You go to Patriots games to see Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski, not Garoppolo.
Yeah, but the problem is Brady's suspended, so they're going to have to see Garoppolo for the first 4 games.
Yeah. Speaking of Garoppolo, how do you guys think he's going to do this year? Brady said he's not going to appeal the suspension. So the first 4 games, they got a tough schedule. Got to go to Arizona game. Week 1.
I think against the Cardinals, they're going to have a lot of Garoppolo is going to have a lot of trouble because they got a pretty decent defensive line. They got a lot of good veteran players on the Arizona Cardinals, some good offensive players, and we'll see how it goes.
All right. And that will be all from Boston. You were listening to 97.1 The Ticket. Thank you.